I'm curious if you have some thoughts on this. Workplace culture.
Mhm.
And also not even just within your organization, but part of what I'm thinking about is a lot of businesses, and I think maybe some of this plays into what we're just talking about. They've been, I think, over the last 20 years making that change of it's not just a sit down at your desk, do your job, make it, you look at these big organizations now where they're trying to make it a welcoming environment, almost like an event would, an
Yeah.
attendee experience. A company is trying to make this like employee experience. The big firms have like free lounges and people are there all night. Like, what I'm trying to get to though is, what do you think businesses could learn from the creative and the arts and the live events? What do you think businesses could do to incorporate some of that thought into some of their company culture?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, it's so interesting because for so long, nonprofits have been told to behave more like businesses. So our structure is very similar to a business, how a business would be run. And a lot of that has to do with, if you have a board, the board is coming from corporate, so that was
Yep.
be more like, this is how you succeed. And I think for, most of us who are working in the event world or in the arts nonprofit came up as an artist or, worked in some way as a designer or had a hand in it in some way. And that's why you fell in love with it. And then you get on the administration side and then you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be here at 8 and leave at 5. And my life looks like that. And no creative practice looks like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, and we know people have their energy flows differently when they're in, ready to roll up their sleeves and get going. And then others are like, I need a break at 2 because otherwise I'm just going to go crazy. Like knowing and having that flexibility, I think is really important. We've all went through the moment of working from home and that's an option and everybody gets to do that. But then you sort of lose that ability to collaborate easily. And let's be honest, it's not easy to do that on a computer.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yep.
So how do you balance that? And I don't know that we have figured it out, honestly. I think performing arts centers and people who work at the performing arts centers are a little bit of workaholics. And you have to kick people out of the building and make them stop doing what they're doing so they go home and rest. And that is not good. I'm not saying that's good. I don't think corporations should do that. I think but there's a lot of flexibility that gets built into the organization, and it has to be. And some people's jobs can be more flexible than others. Our production team, they're amazing.
Yes,
and they're often,
they are.
Yeah, they load in at, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. They have to be there when those trucks arrive from wherever they were before to unload whatever it is, 10 trucks if it's Wicked, and then put the show up and ready to go that night.
Wow.
It's an extreme amount of pressure.
Yeah.
They have an incredible system of ways that they make sure that happens. I hear again and again from the industry leaders, the producers who love coming to Boise and our team because our team is so efficient.
Yeah.
They're kind, they're reliable, and all of these things, but they have very long hours. And the expectation then is one show closes, they load it out, turn it around, load in a new show. And it is brutal. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's very hard. And they don't get that time to be like, I'm going to work from home right now.
Nope.
That's not it. That's not the job.
The stage is not at home.
Yeah, I know. So they do probably feel like they live at the center. And so we have to figure out how do we build in the system to allow for people to get breaks, to feel that they're not on a wheel, that they get off the wheel every once in a while and recharge. And I don't know as an industry that we have solved that problem yet. So I don't know that we have a lot to offer.
Sure. Okay. Yep.
Other than work at it and try to find the flexibility and not get set in your ways on this is how it has to happen. And I think that is one thing that our industry, specifically theater, has been struggling with is it is a grind,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a constant, and you are expected to be 100% all
Yeah.
the time, and it's impossible.
One thing that stands out though, even in that scenario, is that I would bet 98% of the people on the team love what they do,
Yeah.
love theater, and when you build an organization full of people who love what it is that they do,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not like, someone is driving them, forcing them,
Yeah.
it's, and you see that. I used to play in music as well, or I played sports, and it's like in one of those scenarios where you love what you do, you want to be there extra, you want to be there early, you want to set up more,
Mm-hmm.
So I think one thing that does stand out that people could learn from is trying to foster the love for the why or the vision behind what you do as an organization, so that the employees have the same level of drive, for whatever the end result is,
Right.
as a business.
Right.
Because I think that what a lot of other companies struggle with is normal businesses. They have a lot of employees that maybe don't love being there. They don't love the work that they do. And I think that starts to cause some of that need for, how do we create this community or this culture within a business that is already built in, I think, to theater. It's like everybody already loves it so much.
That's right. You bring up a very good point. Yes, because if you've grown up in theater, you are, and you've done any kind of community theater, you're volunteering and you're doing it because you love it. And you are there after your school day or after work until 10, 11 at night. And you're doing that for months on end for maybe 5 performances in front of an audience, right? But you love it. And it is attributed to, I think, that there is an opening night. And it comes and you have to be ready for it, whether you're ready for it or not. It is an opening night and you will have to show up. You can't not show up because someone needs you. You are so integral to making sure that show happens. If you don't show up, you are letting down the entire cast, the entire production team, everyone that you've spent 4 months in like the trenches with. Now you've let them down. And that, I think that is what you're talking about, is that responsibility and that love of the work makes that responsibility, makes that glue kind of happen, which is hard to replicate in a job, all the time. But it is true. Theater people are known for really giving it their all, probably to the detriment of their health often. I mean, I worked with a director once who didn't go to the dentist when he had a toothache. He kept directing, and then it got infected and he got very, very sick, and he was still directing, laying down on this little bed that got scooted into the theater. Now. Yeah, it's like, you are probably close to really having a serious issue. You should probably go. But things like I have seen that where I'm like, oh, that's the extreme.
Yeah.
But I think there is something about when you have invested everything into your craft, because it is a craft. If you are in a job and you can see what you're doing as a craft, something to hone, then you have a love for it and you have a responsibility to each other. Again, it's like that outward mindset of having a responsibility to everyone on your team to show up and do the work and make sure you're working at the highest level you possibly can. So there's always a balance.
Yep.